questions about inflation and unemployment and the future of the economy.
Yeah, what did you think about the Democratic response
I
last
thought it
night,
was
the
pretty
speech?
weak. Again, I thought the senator who spoke did a good job talking about how this is going to cost Americans down the road. Uh, but the Democrats have been since November have been kind of lost at sea. I think they were shocked by the election, not only the vice president losing the election, but also losing Senate seats, which they felt were safe. The one in Pennsylvania, they thought was safe. The Democratic Party had cut back spending money there. They were so confident that they were going to carry that state. So the Democrats have to come up with some sort of a message, and they have been unable to do that.
And focusing a little bit now on what's going on in Florida, we heard from Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday, the State of the State address. And one thing that has everyone has been talking about, I have to tell you, even my sister from Kentucky called me a few weeks ago and said, "Are you guys really getting rid of property taxes in Florida?" And that is the talk. What do you think about that? Governor DeSantis saying that he's hopeful that that could happen.
Yeah. Um, First of all, every state has a property tax, and Florida's is right in the middle. I think we were number 24
Okay.
out of 50. We are right at the average. The average property tax in this country is $3,100. So the viewers can figure out where they stand in relation to the national average. Um, and in Florida, we're right there. I think we're at 3101 for our average property tax. One of the problems is that people are moving to Florida, and over the past few years, home values have soared, so that people moving here are having sticker shock, and home prices have gone up 46% over the last 6 years, and therefore property taxes have gone up dramatically for new home buyers, people moving here, people buying new homes. And so those people are looking for some sort of relief. The problem is, what do you do instead? Property taxes generally go to local governments, and it's fine for the governor to say, let's do away with property taxes in Orange County or Lake County or Seminole County, uh, but because it doesn't hurt the state. It will only hurt those counties. 60% of school revenue comes from property taxes, and 20% of city and county revenue comes from these property taxes. So, what's going to make up the difference? Would it be doubling the sales tax, which certainly people are not going to like? Would it mean massive cutbacks? And there it becomes politically tricky because the largest expenditure in county and city governments is public safety, law enforcement, fire safety, first responders. The question is, are you going to have layoffs of some of the people who have been Governor DeSantis's strongest supporters? So I'm not sure this is going to go anywhere. But if it does, Florida would be the only state without a property tax. But something would have to make up about $40 billion a year.
Right.
And the
That's
question is what?
Yeah, that's not a small number when you throw out $40 billion.
Yeah, and again, would you double the sales tax? Would you look for new sources of revenue? And nobody has come up with an answer. The governor has not proposed something to make up the money, and cities can only raise taxes, sales taxes, so much. There's a cap, and a lot of cities and counties in Florida are right at the cap. They've already gone up through things like tourist tax and special assessments. In Orange County, we have tourist tax, we have uh, all kinds of school taxes, special school taxes. So we can only raise it so much.
So there's a little more to it than initially sound. Everybody seems so excited and like, hey, wait a minute. How are we going to pay for schools? How are we going to pay for public safety? So that's why you're here, Jim, to bring us back
Yeah,
down.
and I think, you look at states that are doing well, like Texas, their property taxes are higher than Florida's by about 20%. So nobody has ever tried to go without a property tax. So nobody knows what would happen. But again, it would be simple for the legislature to stop property taxes because it would not affect the state, only schools and county governments and city governments.
All right. Well, Dr. Jim Clark, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today. It's always so nice to see
Thank
you.
you, Julie.
All
Have
right.
a good day.
Thank you. You too. We're going to take a short break, and when we get back, we'll pinpoint those showers and thunderstorms we're talking about and take a look ahead to your weekend forecast and that cool down we mentioned. Stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Take 6. It is 12:42. I'm Julie Broughton. We'll take a look at the radar and talk about what's going on with that line of showers and storms moving through central Florida for you in just a moment. But first, every Wednesday, News 6's Eric Von Aken brings us his Protecting Our Community segment. This week, he takes us to Sanford and shows us inside a special unit at the Sanford Police Force that's dedicated to tackling ongoing crime, and it is the longest running program of its kind.
11 Office 10-6, 1033 for a search warrant 17.
This place was what Sanford police describe as a problem house. Drugs in plain view and buyers and sellers stopping by at all hours of the day and night with all the problems that drug dealing brings.
Down, police!
So this was Sanford's solution, sending out the Neighborhood Response Unit, or NRU.
Come to me right now.
They gave us this police body camera video of when they took action to stop the drug dealing.
There was a search warrant conducted actually right here. How y'all doing? Good, everything good?
You busted this house.
Yes,
And now you're having conversation with those folks.
that's correct. You know, enforcing does not have to be negative.
And this is Sergeant Jason Shore. Sergeant, you have been with NRU since pretty much the beginning. That's 11 years.
Absolutely. And we actually will position ourselves at places and times where crimes are being committed
How?
based on crime stats.
Sergeant Drew Pop is the supervisor over the NRU. What exactly is it, Sergeant?
NRU is an investigative unit, a tactical investigative unit.
I believe you were telling me that NRU fills the gap between the patrol unit and the SWAT team?
To a certain extent. So we provide that tactical support, and we bridge that gap between the types of calls that a patrol unit could respond to and those that rise to the level of SWAT.
The sergeants say the NRU is the team that digs deeper, using intelligence-led policing. That means analyzing crime trends and listening to the community reporting problems. Even driving around with the windows down, so the neighborhood response unit can respond to the neighborhood's problems.
Tell me about the results NRU is getting.
The results have been great. The numbers speak for themselves. We focus on the most violent in our community, and we see the result in a reduction in calls for service. We see a reduction in calls for service relating to violent crimes, shootings, and of course, decreased drug activity as well, especially in certain complaints areas.
And the sergeants tell me that Sanford was one of the first around to start anything like a neighborhood response unit anywhere in the state, so much so that other agencies across Florida and Central Florida, at least half a dozen, met with the sergeants to pick their brain about how to start it at their agencies. For now, protecting our community in Sanford, Eric Von Eichen getting results, News 6.
And Eric shares his Protecting Our Community segment with us every Wednesday right here on Take 6 and on clickorlando.com. Now, as we mentioned, one of our top stories today is the weather. We do have a cold front moving through Central Florida, and that means we are watching a defined line of showers and storms moving through right now. Here's a look at the radar for you scanning out, showing we do have the lightning detection data turned on. We are not seeing a lot of lightning at the moment. However, we are seeing some lightning strikes out there. The heaviest rain is extending from northern Lake County down into southern Lake County, down toward the Leesburg area, Umatilla, Eustis, Tavares, Astatula. You're getting ready to see some heavier rain. And as we go farther to the south, areas like Claremont and Montverde, you are seeing some pockets of heavy rain. And I was just looking at some of the rainfall reflectivity rates and some of these heavier showers, and that is indicating we could be seeing a little bit of small hail within some of these showers. Here's a wider look out the satellite and radar imagery with that cold front laid in there as well. You can see that front is pushing to the east, bringing with it that line of showers and storms. But look behind the front. Already behind that, we're seeing skies beginning to clear in some spots as drier air moves in. So that is what we can expect late this evening and into the overnight hours. Now, we do have that level 1 risk for most of our area for severe weather today. So we're talking about the potential of some gusty winds, a lot of lightning, wider lookout showing some of these areas yesterday through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama that saw that ongoing severe weather outbreak. Things are quieting down for them today. Again, the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma has put us in that marginal risk category. So our greatest impacts we are looking at gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour, some heavy downpours. We can't rule out a few rotating storms, which means we could see a brief spin up. And again, we're looking at that potential of some small hail. Models have done a really good job with this line, so here's that timeline through the rest of the day. Now, you'll notice 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, that's where we're seeing those showers right now, the heaviest rain through much of Lake County. This will continue transitioning to the east and southeast throughout the day. Now, our southern counties, so down toward areas like Barefoot Bay, Mico, Palm Bay, down back toward areas like Kenansville and Yeehaw Junction, I think you'll see everything starting to clear between 4 and 5 o'clock in your area. Now, we do have wind advisories in place for all of our counties shaded in blue. That's because we are seeing those strong gusts to 40 miles per hour. That advisory is up until 5 o'clock. Right now, look at the temperature contrast. So up in Ocala, you're in the low 60s, but we're at 80 degrees in Cocoa Beach and Melbourne. So once we get that front through here, we'll see that cooler air beginning to build in. So we still could warm up a few more degrees in areas where the rain hasn't started, including Orlando and Kissimmee. Our winds are coming in generally out of the south and southeast. These are sustained winds, sustained at 24 miles per hour in Orlando, and you're seeing sustained winds around 20 to 25 miles per hour through much of our coastal areas. Here's a look at those gusts. Now, again, this is why we have that wind advisory in place, because we are looking at those gusts close to 40 miles per hour in some spots, including Orlando. Melbourne, your winds are gusting right now to 34 miles per hour. Here's a look at this line as we take you through the rest of the day. Again, we'll start to clear things out by around 4 to 5 o'clock for our southern counties. Then taking you through the overnight hours, we'll see another little kind of reinforcing boundary move through. It'll move through dry, but we'll just kind of help bring in that cooler air that does arrive for us by tomorrow afternoon. So we're talking about 67 for our high tomorrow. The coldest air will be here Friday morning. We wake up in Orlando at 46. That means we could even see some upper 30s in northern interior spots. Then Friday we go to 76. Saturday, ahead of another front up to 82. That front comes through on Sunday, bringing a 60% chance of showers and some thunderstorms before we cool it down again into next week with some lingering showers Monday and Tuesday. Our entire Pinpoint weather team is here with you throughout the afternoon hours. We're continuing to monitor that line, and if we see any strong or severe storms, we will immediately let you know, both on air and online, and we will have a much more in-depth breakdown of the showers and storms and that cold front for you coming up on News 6 starting at 4. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you at 4.